We pray for love and unity, and that the church would find new zeal and commitment to the mission and purpose of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
You're a liar! You're a liar!
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart.
All right, everybody, it's that time again for the Political Pulpit. I'm your host, Josh Navarrete. We're coming to you from home studio today, and we're going to go over some things that I'm sure you all are aware of. What a week, what a tragic week. It's been tough. Let me tell you, it's been hard on everybody. Our prayers go out to the Kirk family. Just such devastating news this week, as we all know that Charlie Kirk was assassinated in front of thousands for the world to see, and for what a turning point. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I heard somebody say the other day that turning point has such a impact. It's such a meaning now. I wonder if Charlie even knew the impact and the type of the meaning of that name. And could this be the final turning point? What does this mean for America? What does this mean for even the church? Many times when we think of Charlie Kirk, we think of the political activism. We think of the all the work that he's been doing with Turning Point USA, the tremendous work. I mean, with the President of the United States being closely integrated in the administration, even throughout the campaigns from the 2016 campaign, 2020, and of course 24. And Charlie was there from the very beginning, and he had a great influence and impact on what happened with this nation. And now that he's gone, it looks as if his name is even greater. And what an impact, what a purpose, what a destiny and a legacy that he's leaving for the rest of us. It's kind of even pressed me a little bit. I wouldn't say a little bit, a lot of it. I feel the pressure. I feel the heaviness. I also feel motivated because what he did in such a short period of time, just 31 short years, like they said, has been something that has more impact than most of us will do in an entire lifetime. So what do we do from here? I think we use his life as an example, as an opportunity to do better, to go stronger, to go harder, to stand up and fight. Do not be afraid, be faithful. Many messages that we're going to pull up here that he said. I mean, you could write many books of his life. You can fill pages and pages of quotes of Charlie Kirk and the wisdom that God has given him, and the wisdom that Charlie shared with all of us that maybe we took for granted. I know I have some regrets of my own. I have some regrets of maybe not partnering with them as much as I should have or could have. Although we were doing many things of the same caliber, we were reaching pastors and faith groups, but there's just, I guess there's always some regret at the end. But anyway, we're going to move forward, and there's some things that we want to show you all. We want you guys to see the impact that Charlie's had. There's a lot of video out there. There's a lot of there's just so much that's coming out that reminds you of the great movement of Turning Point USA and the anointing really that was over Charlie's life. And I heard his pastor from Trinity Church, I can't even think of his name right now. I'm sure you guys can help me out. But he was saying that Charlie was pulling at him to spend half a day with him just to go over biblical studies and to make sure that he was sharp and to make sure that he was ready to preach the gospel at a high level, which he, quite honestly, Charlie was already doing that at a high level. Charlie was already preaching the gospel. As a matter of fact, some of his last words were just that. And he was doing things that some of us wish we could do. Or I should say some of us should be doing. He was doing things that were more impactful than a lot of, I'm not trying to talk bad about pastors, but I just feel that a lot of pastors have gotten extremely comfortable. Many pastors have really taken a back seat to what's happening, and it's sad to see. I want to play a quick clip here for y'all to take a look. Let's see. I don't know why it's not playing, but I'm going to do it this way. Take a look.
How do you want to be remembered?
If I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
I don't know if you know this, but everyone dies. It's important to remind yourself of that. That you face God, the judge, and he's going to list everything you did wrong in your life. It's going to be a long sentencing hearing for me. Well, you get justice, which is hell, because that's what we deserve. Mercy, which is less of that, which I'll allow the theologians figure out what that is. Or grace. What is grace? Grace is something so unique, so different, so profound. Which is as soon as the sentencing's about to be ushered in, someone comes in and says, no, I will serve that prison sentence for him. I will go into the prison cell for him or her so that they can live forever. That's grace. You didn't earn it. You didn't check boxes for it. You didn't go park cars for a ministry and that gets you extra points to go to heaven. None of that's true. It's that it's equally accepted for all people that allow Jesus Christ to be your Savior, the Savior of the world, to be born new and to be completely and totally renewed. That's a gift that we must try to give all people in the world.
I mean, I've had an unbelievably blessed life. Been doing this now, it'll be 12 years on June 5th.
Such a young man to do it.
So young.
Yeah, so praise God. I mean, I've been all across the world. I've met with world leaders. I've flown in Air Force One, got to know a president. I have an amazing family, the podcast, Turning Point USA, all that stuff. And so you experience that and you're like, what actually matters? What matters is your relationship with the divine, your relationship with your family, your kids, and maybe a close collection of friends, and your relationship with the truth. And you could decide to lie all the time, then you become a tortured individual. And you know those people. You just turn on television. They're constantly lying and they just become like disfigured either emotionally, spiritually, or physically. Because when you lie, I believe you're actually committing suicide of the soul. I really believe that.
Are you a Christian by any chance?
Very, very much so.
Like, why is that exactly?
Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There's not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live.
And for those of you that have not given your life to Christ, I could tell you it is the most freeing, liberating thing that a human being can possibly do. The most important thing that you can do, which is to be born new into the kingdom of God.
Wow. Incredible young man. So young. As a matter of fact, I one of the things that he told me specifically, I met him for the first time, was actually, I think it was 2019 or 2020. There was something going on outdoors. Oh, it was 2020. It was for the election. One of the issues that we had in Arizona, there was a lot of stuff going on, and we'll get into that later. But he specifically told me, he found out that I was becoming a minister. I wasn't a minister yet. I had told him about it. And he said, so you have the truth? And I said, well, absolutely. And he said, well, isn't it funny that you have something so valuable to humanity, but you are afraid to share it out in the street? And he wasn't referring to the gospel, although he knew, obviously, that's what we were talking about. But we were also talking about what's biblically true for America. And I was wrestling with the idea of coming out in these political arenas and in these spaces, speaking biblical truth and tying it into righteousness for our government. And so he was saying, because we have the truth, we're the most valuable voices, and that we should never, ever, ever, ever hold back. And from that day forward, we went ahead and dove into this, and this is why we're here today. Now, from that point on, we did some partnerships, we did some things together, nothing at a huge scale, but we did reach churches and pastors together through Turning Point Faith. and some of the great people on the faith side, some of the great pastors that work for Turning Point Faith. I'll never forget them. We've been in contact, just amazing people, but they have lost their leader. We've lost a friend. We've lost someone that is going to be written in the history books. I mean, they should put some of his quotes, a lot of what he has said in life should be and will be written in stone, and in history forever. I do want to read what they have on here on Twitter. I don't know if you guys, let's take a look at it here. I'm going to share this tab. All right, let me see really quick. I just want to see what our point of view is. Okay, perfect. So this is what Turning Point on Charlie Kirk's page just put out. Charlie Kirk, 1993, 2025. It says, every one of us at Turning Point USA is crushed and devastated by the hateful murder of our founder and guiding light, Charlie Kirk. All of us have lost a leader, a mentor, and a friend. Above all, our hearts are with Erica and their 2 children. Charlie was the ideal husband and the perfect father. Above all else, we ask you to pray for the Kirks after the incomprehensible loss they have suffered. More than anyone, Charlie believed in the power of argument and good faith debate to find the truth and guide people towards, if not agreement, then at least mutual understanding. Charlie was no stranger to threats. He received thousands throughout his life, but he always prioritized reaching as many young Americans as possible over his own personal safety. Now, Charlie has become America's greatest martyr to the freedom of speech he so adored. In his 31 years, Charlie lived more than any of us will in 100. He had an overwhelming passion for life and a deep belief in power as an individual to make a difference. With the spirit of a pioneer, Charlie launched Turning Point out of his parents' garage as an 18-year-old with no money, no name recognition, only a dream. His energy and drive were awe-inspiring, without equal, and deeply infectious. Charlie refused to squander a single day of his life. And he was a natural builder and a problem solver who loved a challenge and saw every setback as a chance to learn, grow, and pray and try again. He was fundamentally decent, always eager to make new friends and allies and to support and defend the ones he had already made. His values were timeless American ones, honestly, forthrightness, duty, loyalty, and fair play. So, you know, the loss of Charlie's, it's going to be so impactful, where I think people feel scattered and alone, or almost like, where do we go from here? Because it was such a movement. I believe that many, many people will rise up. 1 million Charlies, people are saying 1 million Charlies should rise up. It goes on in here to say, Charlie loved America, its people, its constitution, its freedom, and the limitless good all of them have done for the world. But above all, Charlie lived every day with an overflowing love of the Christ he knew he would one day get to see. When asked, Charlie said that above all, he wished to be remembered for his faith. For far more than any political victory, Charlie wanted to see a spiritual revival amongst America's youth. He wanted a nation of happy, thriving families who loved God and each other. And at his final public speech just days before his murder, Charlie witnessed to Christ to an audience of non-believers. Even in his very last moments, Charlie was professing the gospel. He ran his race well all the way to the end, and now he goes to his heavenly reward. Although Charlie is gone, his legacy will endure. He shall not grow old. Age shall not weary him for all time. He will remain the brave young man who inspired tens of millions of Americans to better themselves and take action to better America. All of us will miss Charlie. None of us will ever forget him. Amen. We're never going to forget Charlie. And this was a sobering moment yesterday as Charlie Kirk's body was delivered in front of his wife and friends and probably staff members. It was just heart-wrenching. But thank God to J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, and the team and administration for making this happen. It's unbelievable. What an honorable return home. There was a audio as well from air traffic control from Sky Harbor Airport that welcomed Charlie home and said, "You didn't deserve this, but welcome home." So, yeah, tough, really tough. Rapid response says, Jason in the White House says, President Donald Trump visited Fox News and called him to see how he was doing and talked about, excuse me. Okay, so President Donald Trump calls Jason in the White House and says President Trump called to see how he was doing and talked about his love of Charlie and his family. Take a look at this.
Hope I can get through this part. The president called me, and I was very touched by that. And he talked about his love of Charlie and his family. That man, Donald Trump, is a rock. That guy's amazing. Everything going on in the world. And the president wanted to see how he was doing and wanted to talk about that beautiful lady and his family. And it was a really good conversation. And I'm very grateful. I hope I can get through this part. The president called me, and I was very touched by that. And he
Extremely tough. Extremely tough. I mean, it's been a tough week, guys. It's been really. I just hardly have the words. I couldn't fathom doing any shows because, first of all the shows that are going on are massive channels, and you can watch this stuff anywhere. But I just feel a duty. If it's almost like I can hear him say, as if Charlie was speaking to me, and I didn't speak to him very often. The times that I did, he was very intentional and made every moment very purposeful. He didn't waste a moment, right? But he would. It's almost like, okay, what are you doing? Let's get going. Get in front of the camera, press play, press record. Let's do this. So I'm going to press on, press forward, and I'm going to preach the gospel. I'm going to represent Christ as the best I can, just as Charlie did. Secretary Rubio, Charlie is someone I've gotten to know personally, and it's just heartbreaking to see. We know two things for certain, and that is that a great young man is dead and a family's been shattered, and that there's no place for this America.
Well, Charlie's someone I've gotten to know personally, and it was just heartbreaking to see. Both stunning and outrageous at the same time. Obviously, I have confidence in our investigators. They're on the ground. The FBI is the best investigative unit in the world. I spoke to the governor numerous times yesterday in the midst of this, and they're also involved with their state police there. And so I think now we just need to let the investigators do their work. And we know two things for certain, and that is that a great young man is dead and the family's been shattered, and that there's no place for this in America. We all know that. All the words are out there, but it's true. Not just outrageous, it's frightening. Well, Charlie's someone I've gotten to.
It's frightening, guys. It's and I want to thank God for our ministers back at our home church. Pastor Myers, Daniel Myers, is a good friend of mine, a good brother to me, and he made sure to stop to tell me that God wanted us to know that we should not be afraid. Be not afraid, because if you think about it, the bar has been set. Now you can go out and preach, teach, have debates, have conversations in the open. And in the back of your mind, you're always going to wonder if there's somebody out in the distance, a coward, a demon-possessed human being, ready to take that last and final shot. But the Lord is clear. Charlie's voice and words ring loud and clear, and we should not be afraid, and that we should be remembered for not being ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Speaker Johnson goes on to say this: what America needs right now is what Charlie modeled every day: sharp debate without hatred, conviction with compassion. He believed in reconciliation, that even in disagreement, we must leave the door open to heal divides. The Spirit made our country better together. Take a look.
Hard to hate someone if you know the names of their children. It's about relationship, right? And our job in Congress is to convince the people on the other side of the aisle that our argument is correct. Charlie was a great model for that because he never shied away from debate, but he never hated the guy that he was debating. That was the key. He believed in the biblical admonitions. You know, there's a passage in the New Testament that says all of us as Christians, believers, we're supposed to be engaged ultimately in the ministry of reconciliation. What does that mean? It means that you leave the door open to reconcile with those who disagree. And that, you know, a gentle word and a gentle admonition is better than returning fire for fire, right? Sometimes we got to remember those principles. And I think Charlie was one of the best at it. Yeah, he had sharp debates, but he always went and was willing to put his arm around the person that he was debating. And the reason that he was so engaged and so passionate about what he did, Jesse, I know he and I talked about this, is because he genuinely loved everybody and he wanted to bring them to the truth. Yeah. And he was so effective at doing it. And I don't know if anybody will be able to fill those shoes. Somebody said it's hard to...
You know what stands out to me, and I don't think many people know this, because a lot of the conversation is about his political activism, is that he spent time at any church that he could stop by in. I've seen him at very large mega churches and smaller sized churches. Unfortunately, I fully regret not having him at our local church. We've had everybody from Ben Carson to J.D. Vance, and just kind of not sure how that didn't happen. But he spent time with pastors of all walks of life, of all denominations, to be quite honest with you. Not many people do that. Not many people most don't see the importance, especially in the political arena. Most do not see the importance of the church, especially the American church. They spent thousands, probably millions of dollars investing into God's house. And that speaks a lot. It speaks volumes. Something that, you know, I don't think people realize this man's heart and love for Christ. And it just pains me so much to see what's happened. All right, so now you all know by now that authorities share new details on hunt for Charlie Kirk's assassin. Oh, this is actually old. They've recently located Charlie Kirk's assassin. The other thing, there was a vigil taking place yesterday night, and these were some of the images of people that were just, setting up a memorial there at headquarters there. And it's grown since. There were some people that trying to disrupt the area, and cops did a good job at removing them. As if losing, a family, as if how should I say this? As if a man who has died and left widow and 2 kids is not enough. Like you just, what gets into somebody's mind to go out and disrupt a vigil? Crazies. And that's the part. We have demented people that we need to be watchful of. Demented people of all, they're just there. They're out there. And we need to be careful. All right, so let's move on. I'm very just lost for words on this. And we're going to figure this out. We're going to pull through. We're going to stand and we're going to fight. Liliana says, we continue fighting. Thank you for joining us. And greetings from Pakistan, Rajesh Chauhan. Thanks for joining, my brother. I appreciate you very much. God bless you and all your saints in Pakistan. We are praying for you. I believe Pastor Luke was his pastor. And then Joel Medrano said earlier, hey, Brother Josh, such a rough time for our nation, such a great man of God, husband and father, an inspiration to many of us young in politics. True American hero taken out by a demon-possessed liberal. Absolutely true. A demon-possessed liberal man who couldn't stand hearing the truth and having a difference in opinion. And then, of course, Alex Garcia, thank you for joining us, reminds us of Joshua 1, verse 9. I want to show you guys a video that we have from the Daily Meme team. It says, we know exactly how we got here. Don't let them gaslight you into forgetting what got us in this place in the first place. Take a look.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
She's a genuine danger to American security.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
We have to preserve our democracy. Must speak out against lies and hate.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there is unrest in our lives.
Have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is.
President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy.
Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy and our most fundamental freedoms.
Kamala needs to stop saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy. It's now being received by some unhinged people as a call to action. Enough is enough.
Literally, who are the ones?
Donald Trump and the MAGA.
Who are the ones inciting violence? There's no looting last night. There's no riots. There's no storming the streets and destroying cities. And the rhetoric that happens, threat to democracy, inciting violence and going into the streets to incite violence. The crazy liberal ideologists and people that have demented minds and have watched the news and listened to the lies are the ones that are going out committing these crimes. When's it going to stop? I believe it's not going to stop. It's probably going to get worse. We shouldn't be afraid, but we should be vigilant and watchful, prayed up, and ready to fight. Be smart about things. I wish, Charlie had a different... God knows all things. He knows why and what happened. He knows what this is all about and why Charlie had such a short life. But I do want to say, there's some other people I've been around, and I just wish they had better security. Yeah, I'd even go as far as to say it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but Charlie didn't have a bulletproof vest, let alone a bullet glass encasement around where he was. But I get it, because he was there peacefully. When you're going in peacefully to have a conversation, the last thing you think is somebody's going to want to shoot you for having a conversation. But because cowards exist and demons love cowardice people that have been lied to, they would possess somebody like this to pull the trigger on an innocent, loving, caring, peaceful man. Charlie was a man of faith. He was preaching the gospel to his very last breath. And to go out the way he did was just so tragic. I hope they erased the internet. They erased the images off the internet, because I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of people trying to analyze it. It was one bullet. It was one shot. There's no conspiracy. Israel didn't do it. Now this conversation about Israel killing Charlie Kirk is ridiculous. This stuff needs to stop. This guy, the evil that we're under, against, he was a possessed man. Think about it. Think about how Charlie was, one of his last fights, the last stands that he made was a young lady, Ukrainian refugee, who was on a light rail, who was minding her own business. Her throat was slashed and nobody helped her. Literally her jugular vein, or whatever vein it was, she bled out. One slash across her face, across her neck. The very next day, Charlie goes out the same way, almost to mock this world, to mock Christianity, to mock God and his people. It makes me so angry. It makes me so upset. And then people buy into this thought that these conspiracies, this dot that supposedly was on his shirt that traveled to his, just stop it. It was a microphone. It's a magnetic microphone they use to get the audio so that they can sync it up with the video when they produce the video for social media and all the other channels. It's, the man died a tragic death. Thank God, I just pray for his wife and kids. It's so sad. This is like a excuse me, my dog is barking. And so they just pray for his wife, pray for his family. It's part of being at a home studio. Yeah, you're right, Danny Williams. Thank you for saying that. Why is it still on the internet? I wish they would take it down. I really wish they would take it down. All right, let's take a look. Here's something that somebody put together for Charlie. This is Charlie at the RNC.
I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. Together, the largest conservative grassroots organizations in the country. Thanks to our work, I talk to a lot of young people on campuses, at our events, on my radio show, podcast, and social media. Said differently, I visit college campuses so you don't have to. Since I last spoke at the Republican convention 4 years ago, I've become a husband and father. In fact, we have 2 under 2. I think I get extra points for that.
God bless his family. God bless Charlie. All right. We also have another one that says goodbyes aren't forever. This one was, I believe, I'm not sure who this was done by, but it's another good video. Take a look at this one. If I can get it to play.
I come to say goodbye.
Where are you going?
Just on a little trip.
Oh, Charlie, I'll miss you.
Yeah. I'll miss you too, Squeaker.
Charlie, will I ever see you again?
Sure. Sure you will, kid. You know, goodbyes aren't forever.
Then, goodbye, Charlie. I love you.
Yeah. I love you too. I come to say goodbye.
Man, that's tough, guys. It's tough. We're going to continue to pray for their family, and continue to fight. That's what we're going to do. All right, so we have a few more things that we want to go over. President Donald Trump was at Fox and Friends today. He recounts the moment he learned of Charlie Kirk's murder. They said Charlie Kirk is dead, and I didn't know what they meant. I said, "What do you mean, dead? Charlie Kirk was shot." I just told these people to get out because he was apparently meeting with, some architects or something regarding the new building at the White House. We'll take a look.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects and with design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, And I said, dead? And it was like, I just told these people, get out, just go, this is the worst thing. This was so bad for our country. When I heard it, I was in the midst of...
Yeah, he said it right. This is so bad for our country. This is horrific. Why? I don't know. It just doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem like it actually is a real thing, but this is very real, guys.
What do you as a dad, and a lot of dads and moms are wondering what to say. What do you say to them?
So Barron's a very good student. And Barron came to me and he said, Dad, I'd like to meet somebody that you know. Who? Charlie Kirk. I said, what? I thought he was going to say, I want to meet like King Charles or something, like we're going to meet soon, right? But he said, really, you want? And I set up a lunch with him, and he came back. He said, that guy's great, Dad. That guy's great. It was cute. he's unbelievable. I don't know what it was. Charlie had a magic over the kids, and large numbers of them, and very diverse. Black, white. I mean, everybody, the young women and boys, and I've never seen anything like it. And it was all good. I mean, it was good stuff. It wasn't some of the stuff you read about where they're in favor of all these horrible things. It was really good stuff. And we lost an unbelievable warrior.
What do you as a dad, and a lot of dads and moms?
That's why I titled it what I did, An Unbelievable Warrior. He really was. We were witnessing someone that was a generational person of high impact. I mean, Miles Monroe said, death itself is not a tragedy, but a death without purpose is actually the greatest tragedy. And Charlie Kirk lived with purpose every day. Every day he fought. He did a show every day for like 3 hours a day. So for me to, say I can't do the show because it's too hard is actually not honorable. So I went ahead and I'm committing to doing more to get the word out, to get the message out, to get the message that God has given me. I'm going to keep going. And that's the right thing to do. They did find the perpetrator, and we're going to move forward. There's one more statement that I want to show from President Donald Trump, and it's right here.
You say to people who are saying they see the assassination attempts in your life, they see the Minnesota lawmakers, they see what happened. They see what happened to Charlie, and they're saying, what's going on with the political process? Now, instead of trying to get votes, you're trying to survive. There are lawmakers canceling their events this weekend, AOC on the left and a lot of lawmakers on the right saying, I'm a little concerned about doing a public event. As president, what do you tell them?
I say you have to go forward. You just have to go forward. You watch, as closely as you can. You have, I have great people. I mean, I have people now much better and far more.
What do you say to people who are saying they see the assassination attempts?
So like President Donald Trump says, we're going to continue to move forward. That's what Charlie would have wanted. And that's what we do. We press on. Let's take a look at the press conference that was earlier today. They caught the suspect. Thank God he's in custody and hopefully brought to justice. They need to fully bring this guy to.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
All right, let's jump to Cash Patel's statement.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilize these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took.
Real quick, something that stood out to me. They said it took them, I think he said 15 minutes to get fixed wing aircraft. I've been in a hit and run before. I was actually the one that was hit, and the person ran, and I called 911 and told them. And within 5 minutes, there's a helicopter in the air scanning the area. I am a little bit shocked that there was a shooting of a high-profile individual, and it took them 15 minutes just to get something in the air. I don't know much about Utah. I've been there once, Salt Lake area. And that was shocking to me. I know 33 hours is, and if anybody knows anything about forensics or is in law enforcement, please jump into comments and let us know how this works. But it does seem like a long time. He was on the roof. People did see him. There's cameras everywhere nowadays. It seems hard to get away. The great thing is they got him. I'm not trying to diminish that, but 15 minutes for something in the air to scan the area, especially of that caliber. I'm sure the sheriff's department, everybody, I'm sure knew that a high-profile individual was in the area. So I'm just curious to see, or I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter, but it is interesting to me.
To learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great, and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake field office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions. And we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on If they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation.
All right, I think I took some questions. Let's
Washington
take a
County.
look.
For those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southern, it's actually the city of Washington in Washington County. I'm sorry? We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes. I can't answer that right now. Yeah, thank you. Over here.
By the way, I agree with that, Danny. With these shootings, the first place that should be secured would be the rooftop buildings.
I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history, yes. The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s.
Yeah.
And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets, we are not wired as human beings
to see that.
Biologically, historically, we have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight, last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes,
These are really good points, guys. I think it's very true. I've been so consumed about everything. I got tired of seeing the event itself, and it's probably time to put the devices down and hug your loved ones. Real quick, as you're on this feed, if you guys could share it, this would be really helpful to us to make sure you share our episode. You can hit that share button on Facebook. You can repost on X. And then, of course, the other platforms, YouTube, you can also subscribe and copy the link and send it out to your friends. Very helpful to us. Help us get the word out. We're going to commit to this effort and make sure that we work as hard as Charlie did, if not harder.
This could be.
That's even possible.
I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. But this is our moment. Do we escalate or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here. I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened. One more thing, could you clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits? Correct. Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes. Yeah. I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County, in the southernmost part of our state. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information.
All right. Well, we know what he's going to be charged with, and how he's going to be tried. He's probably going to get the death penalty. It's an assassination against a political figure. That doesn't go well for anybody, and it shocked the nation. This is truly a turning point in our nation. What a turn of events, and this has been tough, guys, and we're just grateful that he has been caught. He has been caught. Thank the Lord. Well, before we go, I want you guys to continue to pray for the Kirk family, pray for the nation, and we're going to continue to remember Charlie Kirk and remember the good news that he was very intentional about spreading. He was about spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. And man, what's an amazing young man. So let me see here. There was a video that I want to pull up. But first, I want to actually go back and show you guys what the perpetrator looked like. I don't even know if it's important at this point, but he was caught. They have footage of him. They have they have coverage. Oh, okay. I can't actually find you guys can search it up, or we'll post it. It doesn't really matter, actually, what he looks like. He's a young kid. He's only 22 years old. He can't be that skilled at shooting, but he had a high-powered bolt action rifle, took one shot, and from a distance on a rooftop, and that was enough to assassinate Charlie Kirk and widowed Erica Kirk and 2 young babies. Just so sad. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking, guys. It's just so bad. I do want to show you guys a video. And what we'll do, we'll close with this. It's actually on the Charlie Kirk stream. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what they've been saying, or a tribute they've been playing through the Charlie Kirk show. And it's so moving. It's so touching. And the team has done a great job. Everybody at Turning Point's at home with their families, loving on their families and kids. But there is staff there now producing the show, which I think is very honorable in Charlie Kirk's name. But before we do that, let's remember something, what he fought for. Now, there's probably some people on the stream now that don't believe or didn't believe everything he said or wasn't happy about the things that he said. There's somehow talk that he was very hateful. He was bold, and he gave his life to being bold, and he gave his life to his life's work to proclaiming that Jesus is Lord, but also his political beliefs. That was his initial platform. A young kid, started when he's 18 years old. I think when I met him, he was like 26 or 27. So he had already been at it for a long time. And actually, it was further than that. He was younger than that. Was he 24? Anyways, he was super young. I couldn't believe it. I posted a photo that I quickly snatched with him after we got done talking, and he, from that point on, went on stage. And it wasn't like big stages that you see now. We were literally outside with a microphone. That was his stage for that day. And so when we got done talking, he went to the microphone and just did his thing. I was blown away. I was blown away at the impact that Charlie had at such a young age. I was still in my 30s or just in my 30s, and he was in his 20s. I couldn't believe it. I saw somebody that was really anointed. I saw someone that was called for a moment such as this, for a time, for a season, to change the direction of a nation. If you think about it, he worked so hard and grew so quickly. The stories that Candace Owens had put out, tremendous stories. The stories that Brandon Tatum have said, the stories of even people like Graham Allen and others that have first count memories and stories to tell us, that show us a Charlie Kirk that was very human, very loving, very kind, very intentional, very intense. And it was something to think about, something special. He lived a life with purpose, and he was very intentional about his purpose. And that's the life that I want to live. Whether you agree with him or not, he made an impact. He made a change for this nation for the better. I believe God ordained it this way. And it's so terrible to see him go so soon, but this is where we're at. And it's been a tough week. 9/11, Charlie Kirk's assassination. There was a terrible shooting in Colorado, school shootings. There was a stabbing on a train in North Carolina that we saw that was very public. And that was actually one of Charlie Kirk's last fights. It was to fight for this young lady who lost her life senselessly, who didn't have to die the way she did, but because the judicial system, the legal system in that area in many cities is failing our people. It's failing Americans. And that's what he was fighting for, justice for this soul that lost her life by a slice to the neck. And who would have thought days later the same would happen in similar fashion to Charlie Kirk in the most horrific way. Oh, my heart just goes out to them. It's just so terrible. And you know what, by the way, like I know I said this earlier, don't listen to this nonsense about, Israel orchestrating this. This kid did this on his own. He's been lied to. He's been listening to the lies. After a while, you're going to see some conversations that are going to try to scatter the people. The momentum that Charlie built, that Turning Point built amongst the young people, the enemy, Satan, wouldn't love anything more than to divide everybody and to believe conspiracy theories. I didn't know him well. I knew him good enough, but he loved Israel. He loved the people of Israel. And the government is one story, one thing, but to sit there and talk about, I know he said some things recently that was challenging those funding certain movements. But we all know that happens. That stuff goes on, but that doesn't embody the entire Jewish community, the people of Israel, God's people, the apple of his eye. It doesn't mean he was talking about an entire group of people. He was specifically referencing those that fund movements that are against our values and what America stands on. That's what he's always been about. He's been about challenging evil, challenging things. When he would see something that wasn't right, he wasn't afraid to say it. And by the way, he was still very moderate. He wasn't very, he didn't antagonize. He was still very peaceful. He had bold things to say, but why not? Let's see. Charlie Kirk was a good Christian young man bringing truth in God's word to people all over the world with a beautiful family. I am heartbroken. Continued prayers for his family, friends, and his followers. Grace and peace to be all in Jesus' name. Yes, we are right there with you. We're all feeling this. It's been very tough. Wow, what a tough week, guys. But stay strong. Everybody needs to stay strong. Somebody asked, why is it like hurt so much? Well, can't say that. He was a close friend, but we were very friendly with each other, and I supported Turning Point in different areas, had a number of conversations, brought pastors to the faith roundtables that they did, Freedom Square. And the other thing that stands out to me is Charlie was wearing a shirt that said freedom on it. It was almost like a William Wallace moment. Freedom. Even at his last breath, that he was fighting for was freedom. Freedom to speak your mind, to have debates, to preach the gospel. It was about freedom. And man, we can't be scattered. We can't be, try not to be broken for too long. Wipe the tears off your face, dust yourself off, and fight. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to fight. All right, I'm going to play something on the stream. I think this is okay to do. I can't remember if this is like a no-no or not, but I want to honor Charlie in the best way we can. So let's, let me see. Let's play it here.
I talk to a lot of young people on campuses, at our events, on my radio show, podcast, and social media. Said differently, I visit college campuses so you don't have to. We're talking to so many voters that know it is time for change. They know that something is wrong. America's future is a series of choices. Our current state of slow motion national decline is a choice. Today is our 2-year-old's birthday. And I look at my daughter, and that is my why. For those that are parents, you know exactly what I mean.
There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness. There is no river that runs wide as your goodness.
Man, Charlie, I remember when we were starting these out, and
it was that like that.
You know, it was like this. It was like your average
First 3 rows.
It was like your average political meeting where there was like 12 people in a room, and this is awesome.
This, in my personal opinion, was the most over-the-top Trump event that I've ever covered.
This is the #1 boots-on-the-ground operation in the country. We're working directly in harmony with the Trump campaign. It's been vetted, it's been cleared, it's been blessed, as you can see there, and we're going to try to win this thing. No guarantees. It's what we do that matters. Mr. President, I can tell you this room is 100% with you, and we have your back. God bless you. We really do. Thank you. As you know, we are heading on campus here momentarily at the University of South Florida, throwing it down with the students. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are excited to continue this cultural movement that we have started at Turning Point USA. More high school chapters, more college chapters, and disagreement is not just welcome, it is invited. We want to have those tough conversations. That's what it's all about. Supposed to be involved in this. You're supposed to just kind of be on the vote for me every 4 years, give me more political power, and stay out of my business. And what has happened is we are seeing an explosion in citizen participation.
There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days, your mercy follows me. Oh, there is nothing else I'll ever need.
Knock on that extra door. Go that extra mile. Talk to that extra friend. Because throughout voting month and culminating on the 5th of November, I believe it will go down as a day that people remember. As a day that is written about in history books. As the final battle from the golden escalator on down. From defeating Hillary Clinton. From the nonsense of 2020. From Butler, Pennsylvania, November 5th, it all culminates. Where we restore the promise that the founders gave us. And they said, hey, if the people want it, the people get it. And we, the people, take back America. God bless Arizona, and thank you so much. Every day, the American people demand certain accomplishments and victories. Disagreement is what keeps a movement alive, keeps a movement fun. Here in this country, we are a country of flourishing. We're a country of risk-taking. We're a country of building. We will achieve American greatness, and we are just getting started.
All my days, your mercy follow me.
God bless Charlie Kirk. And God bless the Kirk family. And God bless America. Tough to watch, but it's our commission to continue to fight and to carry the gospel shamelessly and with purpose. And that's what we're going to do. I want to thank you all for joining us on the Political Pulpit. And for this difficult week, we're praying for you all. We're believing God that he's going to continue to make a way for us all. He's doing things. And even in this moment of tragedy, God is working. I promise you guys. Remember to like and share. Share this with all of us. Share this with your friends and your family. Let us know we're here. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, hopefully with some better news. And we're going to continue to fight and press on. Thank you all for joining us. God bless you, and God bless America.